We are live. Welcome back to the RINO podcast, everybody. Happy Friday, Kaitlin. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. We're very busy people, and we had to find time because we got a busy weekend coming up. But why not lead with the big news coming out of this week that President Donald Trump has been indicted?
Yeah,
Can you go over what we know so far about the indictment?
sure. There's 37 counts, and some of them are just. One of them is obstruction of justice, where he asked his lawyer to destroy documents. That he, by the way, okay, I just want everyone to be clear. Like, there's a lot of stuff going out there that like Trump declassified all of this stuff. That didn't happen. Trump can't just like be Michael Scott and just like declare declassified, and it like that's what happens.
Okay, hang on. There's a little gray area. He sort of can while he's president, but he actually has to like do it. He can't just not do it. He has to say that he did it, though, at least for there to be even the plausible idea of a case. Now, even that, what I just said, is very debatable, but that's like the minimum standard to even have the argument that he can do it.
Okay, yeah, that's the reason why my face is looking like it is as you're saying that. And so, yeah, there's a little bit more of a process than that. Again, I'm not an expert on security clearance and classifications. We kind of went through this rodeo with Hillary and her email server, and trust me, I'm very pro Hillary being in jail because of that. Okay, like I want to put that very clear from the beginning. Like she should have been indicted, and she should have gone through a trial and found guilty because she did it. Trust me, we're on the same page. We're not letting Hillary off the hook here. We hate Hillary Clinton, or at least I do. Fiery passion.
No, yeah, same.
Yeah. So it was probably the magnitude of all of this stuff and what was released today. Yeah, there's an obstruction of justice charge, a lot of Espionage Act violations. He, I guess, had a classified document on Iran and military strikes, and he showed people them. And yeah, like just straight up like bragged about showing them. He directed his assistant or some type of employee to destroy documents. So it's not just like a lawyer, it was also another person. He had, God, Jeff, they released pictures of these boxes of documents around, I don't know if it was around Mar-a-Lago or any New Jersey or wherever.
It was in the bathroom, right?
Next to the fucking toilet.
Yeah.
Like they're right there. There's
come on.
And there's literally a chandelier in there, which is what made me.
He's so tacky.
Like I was just like, that is very Trump.
Yeah.
Like, of course, these documents went into the bathroom, and my favorite tweet of the day on this is from Damon Toll, which I just butchered and said Damon Tell.
I thought it was Toll. Hang on, Mr. Mayonnaise can't. It is. Why wouldn't it? It's Tell. That's how you say it.
Tell? Damon Tell. Yeah.
No, I think you had it right there.
This podcast. He's such a great guy. But the funniest tweet of today on this about the documents in the toilet was Trump's been wiping his ass with nuclear secrets, and the libs were like, "Nah, I think he buried the documents in Ivana's coffin." Do you remember like the libs when Ivana died? They were like,
dig it up. Yeah. I remember that. Yep. It's disgusting. Well, all right. You and I, we talked a little bit on the Patreon episode. By the way, folks, go to patreon.com/RhinoPod. Only $1 a month. Where I think we have differing opinions on what the outcome of this would be. All right. So there's even a hashtag, read the indictment. It's like, okay, read the indictment. It's like, Did you read the FBI? Yeah, I go like this. This appears to be a very politically motivated prosecution. It doesn't mean he didn't do it. Okay, so like there's a separation there, because I'm of the mind that I don't think he'll see a day in jail. Okay. The reason why the right and the right-wing media ecosystem is quote unquote obsessed with Hunter Biden is not because we give a shit about Hunter Biden. And I hear, oh, well, Hunter Biden wasn't a government employee or an elected official. It's like, yeah, no shit. He was the bag man. He was a bag man to take bribes on behalf of his family, his dad.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was. That's what the big crime is, because Joe Biden is dirty as hell. He's the big guy. There's lots of circumstantial evidence, and it's highly doubtful that Joe Biden will ever face any consequences for that. So I look at that, and I'll even pull up, here's Hillary Clinton today with her tweet, bringing this back in light of recent emails, and it's her with the but her emails hat on her head. It's like, yeah, bitch, what do you think you did? You had your own server.
So this isn't also the first scandal with Hillary Clinton?
Of course not.
Like Whitewater?
Yeah, but still, like, so they've gotten away. You've watched this for decades. Hillary got away with it. Hunter, Joe, getting away with it. Nancy Pelosi, hang on.
Decades of her being a cancer on our political system.
Nancy Pelosi getting away with the insider trading stock deals.
That's completely legal, though. I do have to say, like, Congress needs to do a piece of legislation and make it illegal.
Fair enough. Unethical. Nobody bats an eye. I just don't want to. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear from people who were like, who said Russia for 4 fucking years, and it was complete bullshit. Nobody's admitted to anything. Nobody's even admitted they've done anything wrong, and they just are going la di da di da di da, like whistling past the graveyard. It's like, I don't want to hear it. Like, Trump may be guilty of sin, and he probably is, but I'm not. Once you give up, I'll trade you Trump for Biden. You want to get on, you want to take the moral high ground, the legal, like, oh, we must uphold the law. Sure, but if everybody's engaged with this corruption, and these are now process crimes that, that where I don't know that anybody else other than Trump would they either throw the book at anybody other than a Democrat that was elected for these types of crimes. So it's like, yeah, I know he's probably did it. He's guilty. I don't think he will see a day in jail. I could be wrong about that. You disagree with me. Go ahead.
Okay, so I do disagree with you, and I think that Trump is in deep legal trouble. I think Trump is in deep legal trouble for a few reasons. It's 37 counts, and they seem to have a lot of evidence. This indictment is just full of like quotes and evidence based on all of these charges. Also, the DOJ chose to try this in South Florida, in Miami, with a Trump-appointed judge. So here's my thing on this. They could have chosen to do this trial around DC. They chose South Florida. I know that a lot of people want to say, oh, it's Trump country, blah, blah, blah. Even Gillum got off, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. This is also a federal case with 37 charges. And so I think they have the evidence. I think that Trump is going to go to jail.
No. I want to be very clear. So I'm going to say, you think he's in cuffs behind a set of bars?
I think eventually, yeah.
I think a deal will be cut.
I think if Trump is smart and actually listens to a lawyer, when he could have listened to a lawyer this entire fucking time and not been in this legal trouble, he will cut a deal.
I think
But he didn't listen to his legal counsel the entire time because he is in this trouble due to the fact that he didn't turn over this documents on time, and he fought the DOJ, which is the best law firm in the fucking world. It is. No one can argue this, even with the Dems in charge. He fought the DOJ tooth and nail with shitty lawyers and didn't listen to their advice, and now he's up shit's legal creek without a paddle. He just, like, two of his lawyers on his legal team resigned this morning, are probably going to be testifying against him. Like, this is going to be a legal shit show. And yeah, he's going to cut a deal because he's running a campaign, but he also needs to not be in jail. Like, this is real time.
He
in my
can't.
personal
Let me say this. He won't go to jail. And I'll say this because, one, I doubt this. I highly doubt it ever gets to a trial. Even then, I don't think he'll see jail time. Would he be found not guilty? Maybe even not then. I think the country, the country would be insane at this point. And I mean that. And whether he's guilty or not, and whether you think he should do jail time or not, it's because there is massive corruption at high levels. And if you're going to look the other way for some of it because it's committed by members of one party, but prosecute it and throw somebody who's also the leading candidate against that political opposition in jail, you're going down a very, very dangerous road. Okay? You're getting serious. You're jailing political opposition on process crimes. And yes, he probably did it. It's a strong indictment. But at what cost? What does that get you? Especially when we have good, right now, circumstantial evidence of the corruption at multiple levels, at high levels of the federal government. So I don't think he'll go behind bars. I don't think he'll go behind bars. I think a deal will be cut, no jail time. That's probably the most likely scenario. Even if it goes to trial, I would even think, and I'm not even joking here, he'd get a pardon.
I don't think he's going to be pardoned. I just don't think, I don't think that, like, let's say Ron DeSantis becomes president of the United States. Why would Ron DeSantis pardon Trump after all he's done to him?
Oh,
Why?
That's just campaign stuff. I don't think, because it's for the good of the country. I honestly think that. I think there's even a small chance, like,
I don't think Ron DeSantis would ruin his own political capital in order to placate Trump.
But who would he ruin it with? Like, think about Kaitlin. Really, really, really think about that. A former United States president, the leader of the free world for 4 years, is gonna get thrown in jail because of documents, not because of, like, sold, but because he was super sloppy. And yes,
I think that Donald Trump made the situation worse for himself.
Agree.
And I think that it's not that much of a process crime. I think that he knew what he was doing and the intent was there with several cases of this, and those are crimes. And so I think that the libs, the thing is, I agree with you, right? Like, I don't think it would be good for the country to see Donald Trump behind bars. I don't think it'd be good for them to perp walk him. I don't think any of that. Like, I agree with you. I think that Donald Trump doesn't have great approval numbers right now across the country, even amongst ours. He is not as strong. And I think the tone has shifted. I don't see people defending him as much, except for his lackeys. I see a concern for politicization of the justice system. I do see that. So I think that will help deter a lot of these things. But when we talk about Trump going through the legal system right now with these charges, that's fine. Biden right now is president of the United States. So here's me going on my rant about the House GOP and what they need to be doing with these type of things, because he is the president of the United States, and we've gone through this impeachment process within my lifetime, but now with two separate presidents. We went through it with Trump and we went through it with Clinton. And so when Clinton committed an actual crime called perjury in the 90s, he was not able to be criminally charged for that crime because he was president of the United States and he was in charge of enforcing law in the country. He was not allowed to do this. Okay, he was not allowed to be charged with a crime. So if this stuff with Biden is actually legitimate and true, we need the House GOP Oversight Committee, that means Rep. James Comer, who is from Kentucky, just like I am, to get off his ass and actually do something about it instead of tweet on Twitter all this shit. Start subpoenaing people and bring them in, get Michael Ray from the FBI and get his ass in front of your committee and give him the document you want. Stop yelling on Twitter. Actually hold these people accountable so you can get all the way up to the top and you can impeach the president of the United States. Because if this stuff is true, when he was vice president of the United States, it is impeachment worthy. Mm-hmm. That is a bribe. That is a foreign bribe.
It's a bribe. No, this is what's infuriating me. And this is why I'm kind of just drawing this line. It's like, I'm not moving an inch. I'll admit that, all day long that, yeah, he's not doing himself any favors. He probably broke the law. He, with this 37 counts. Yeah.
But we have the House right now, Jeff. And where is House GOP right now holding Biden accountable? They're not doing that shit.
Here's what
we literally had whistleblower stuff on Hunter Biden's case when I was in Hawaii, and I was told by Republicans, oh, well, Jim Jordan and Rep. Comer will take care of it. Stop being so mean to them, Kaitlin. No. Take care of it.
I'll tell you
we sent you to do a job.
I'll tell you what they're thinking right now. They're only thinking about 2024. They're not thinking about doing their job. They're thinking about next year's election. That's it. That's what this is. This is poll numbers. This is like they're going through this. If they go after it, they're not thinking about doing the right thing. They're thinking about doing the right thing politically. If they go after him, what does it do? Does his base numbers go up? Do more people back him up? That's what they're thinking about right now. This isn't some mystery as to why they're not going after him, but they're not going after him when they should be because they're worried about the political consequences.
Homer, you live in an R+ district.
No, I mean the wider political consequences.
Come on.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what it is.
What
do you?
They're going after Donald Trump. They do this all the time. They went after him. They impeached him, literally over a phone call. Like that. Even Zelensky was like, "No, man. Like it really wasn't like that."
Yeah.
And.
Well, right now, I mean, look, we have this. What's going on with Hunter and Joe, and I mean, I guess it's bribery. It's not really kickback. It's just straight bribery. I mean, it happens all over the place. Here locally, we got Ayanna Pressley and her family getting sweetheart consulting jobs that magically only appeared when she was an elected congresswoman.
It's a quick pro quo.
Yeah, that's what and that's it. And it's dirty and it's corrupt. And now, if you're getting that money and it looks like, Biden did, it's like, so next, as we morph into the sort of the next topic, which is Ron DeSantis running for president, but I want to talk about the media's role in this. And the talking heads locally, I happened to tune into, I saw on Twitter, who I used to be on TV with, Jesse Mermel and Charlie Chipio from Pioneer Institute. We're going to be on Greater Boston Radio with Jim Browdy and Marjorie Egan. So I listened to this segment. It was in the middle of the week. And this is before the indictment came out. And it's very clear from after that these types of folks really want sort of like normal people to agree with them that Trump needs to go to jail. And what normal in the middle of the road people are thinking, it's just like, Yeah, but sure, he did it, and he probably did it just like what you're saying. He's guilty. He's just really bad. He's locked up indictment. But nobody else is gonna see the inside of a jail cell.
I
And
don't think
and the Democrat establishment in corporate media goes, well, yeah, no, nobody else is going to see a jail. So what about Hunter and this bribery thing? Yeah, what are you talking about? Hillary Clinton, her emails, the Clinton Foundation, hundreds of millions of dollars off the books. But what are you talking about? And everybody's just spoke. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll be the good citizens and we'll abide by everything. That's just like, I can't. I'm past that. That's like a 2011 mentality where it's like, okay, we'll own our part of it. We'll keep our side of the street clean. So I don't know. You might be right. He may go to jail. I could be completely wrong, and he may see the inside of a jail cell.
I think that if I were to give any piece of advice to Donald Trump, and somehow this gets to you from me, stop posting on True Social, shut your fucking mouth, and comply, because you're in deep, my friend. You going on True Social kind of rouses your base, but it doesn't help you legally. This is some deep shit. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
All right.
When they come knocking at your door, call your lawyer and shut your fucking mouth.
Good advice. We will see how this plays out. It's going to be a long process. Next up, Ron DeSantis, America's favorite governor, is running for president. We haven't done an episode since he announced his campaign, and we covered the absolute slaughtering of the settling of all family debts that Christina Pushaw has laid upon like the Corleone family in Godfather. Day one, just annihilating everybody in sight that crossed her path or DeSantis's path for the past week and a half, and has been utterly ruthless and cutting everybody down. And you know what, Kaitlin?
What?
It's cruel. And you know what, Kaitlin? The cruelty is the point. And you're going to hear that a lot. And you're going to hear a lot of concern from very, very earnest people, pearl clutching in the media, that they're just very concerned that there's a cruelty and a meanness behind the DeSantis campaign. Oh, is there? Fucking is there? I had to listen, like I told you, I caught that segment on Greater Boston, and they played a clip of DeSantis was shaking hands and kissing babies at some event, and a reporter asked him, "Well, why aren't you answering anybody's questions? Why aren't you answering that person's questions?" And he's just like, "What are you talking about, man? I'm talking to everybody here." And and he just was like, he treated the journo as a journo should be treated, like shit. Because they all should be treated like shit. Because none of them are respectable. They all have an agenda. None of them are honest. And it was beautiful. I listened to it. I'm like, oh, that's great. And then I had to hear about how from Charlie Chippio, who is a Republican and has supported Baker and worked on that and supported that campaign, many years ago. This is where our divide happens, guys. It's like if you want a nice prim and proper Nikki Haley, and Nikki Haley is approved by CNN, and she is liked, and she's pleasant, and she's not mean. Okay, you're entitled to that. But if you start swinging right from the left about tone, when DeSantis shuts down what is obviously biased and bullshit questioning from the liberal press, no, that's when you open yourself up for attack. I expect this from the Democrats. But just know this, like, I'm laying down Jeff's ground rules of this. If you hit from the left towards the right, you're going to get hit. Well, at least you're locally, you're going to get hit by us. Like, we're not putting up with this. You're playing their game. You're playing a game from 10 years ago, and you're going to lose. And I'm going to have a lot of fun. Kind of like this is where the dividing is. It's 1980, and, we're looking at Reagan, and you want to support H.W. Bush. Nothing wrong with that, but we can be more right, and we're going to be more right.
Yeah.
That's my monologue for you.
Yeah, I mean, like I obviously support Ron DeSantis for president. So, I mean, like, what is else there to say? I want somebody who's actually taken out some Soros prosecutors.
Mm-hmm.
I want somebody who's passed legislation, knows how to do it, how to lead the Congress through what they need to do on policy. I want somebody who can lead the party in a better direction. I just want somebody confident. That's already 5 reasons. I feel better about our standing with the military and things will be taken care of. Because there is issues with the military right now. The Navy's got a lot of big issues. And then obviously we have to replenish weapons because we've been sending them to Ukraine. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that it's like a reality. And yeah, like, again, I just support Ron DeSantis. I think that he's got it. And so I also like Tim Scott. If they end up on the same ticket, that would be awesome.
Yep.
And Nikki Haley just doesn't have it. And then Chris Christie got in the race, and
I don't know what he's thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't know what he's thinking. Like, he didn't get out of single digits 8 years ago. What this is all about, I don't even know. Nikki Haley, look, Nikki Haley is, it's like, I don't know, dating a really good-looking bartender. It's like, oh, like they're really hot, and I can get free drinks, and oh my God, it'd be awesome. It's like, it's good in theory. Like, and then you realize that, like, oh, well, they're never around on the weekends because they're always working, or they're getting hit on all the time because they're a hot bartender. It's like, there's like, you think it looks good, and then you like kind of peel away some layers, and it's just like, yeah, no, I think there are way better options.
She just makes like really weird decisions that she talks about, like defending Disney, like defending a mega corporation. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, or thinking about thinking it was interstate competitiveness that was the issue at hand with Disney. Like, what? No, like, you don't want to move them to South Carolina. That's not the point here. The point is they have a very socio-political agenda that they're pushing, and there's a problem with that, and we need to make a stand.
The government. The thing is that like a lot of like libertarians and all these other people, this is what pisses me off, have been like shilling for this major corporation that exploits people. Like, this isn't capitalism. They're exploiting government regulation. Okay. Like this is what, it's literally corporatism. Like it's government welfare at its best. And like libertarians are like, oh my God, that free market, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? Like, I want these government restrictions to not be messed with by
it's like, yeah,
and to be lobbied against by corporations. I think that that's not a free market either.
Yeah,
and so like, why are we shilling for the woke corporation?
Do you remember back in like 2010, it was the Tea Party. It was like, it got laughed at by the left, and it was kind of true. It's like, keep the government's hands off my Medicare. Like, and like there was a sign at a protest. It was like, what? Keep the like, do you know what that means? And it was a silly sign, and I get that, but it's sort of like the same sort of rule here. It's like, don't mess with the government's right to free speech. It's like, wait, time out. Like, the government doesn't. That's not how that works. It's not the government. Like, the government is allowed to make laws. This is the David French
like,
argument.
He argues that the government has the ability for free speech, and I'm like,
yeah,
maybe. I just think that the government is not an entity that has free speech.
Yeah, the government doesn't. Like, this is like, what about the government's rights? It's, excuse me, the government's right. The government doesn't have rights. The government does what we tell it to do.
Can you point out where the government's rights are? Like, yeah. I mean, we have the Bill of Rights because government exists. I don't like.
Yeah, no, it's
so strange.
We'll have to save this maybe for next episode, and the libertarian fascination with RFK Jr. is starting to piss me off. I don't, this is, Jeff will tell you, I hate libertarians. But the just because he doesn't like vaccines, he's a full-on conspiracy theorist, and I see
He's a weirdo.
and he's a whack job.
There's
a reason
that people should be in jail over not believing in climate change. That's crazy.
Guys, there's a real reason why he isn't more of a political force, and he came out of nowhere just to run for president. Like there's a reason for this all happened. Like he wasn't elected senator. He was a low-level congressman.
You want to know what's funny about RFK Jr. running? He's pulling like 20%.
Yeah.
He's pulling a lot. Yeah. He's pulling a lot. And it's really, what I think is really funny is that Dems, since the rise of Trump, have like tried to pose themselves as like the smarter and the intellectual side of things. And I'm like, yeah, the 20% that's going to the crystals lady, and then the other 20% that's going to the anti-vax guy, that 40%, if you add probably about 15 more, that was probably the group of Democrats that believed that Bush did 9/11. So
yeah, no, it's
like people don't remember, but post 9/11, Democrats were insane.
There is a lot more will come out about RFK that has been sort of brushed aside. But now that he's running for president, let me tell you, if you're a libertarian, don't get too excited because he is against giant corporations and vaccines and things like that. Okay, like those are two sort of important.
Are nuts. Yeah, like he posts about like Monsanto all the time, and trust me, I'm a huge fan of Monsanto. But it's a little bit more than the normal posting about a mega corporation.
No, you'll see. You'll get into it. And by the way, to Republican friends who might be looking at RFK, it's like RFK Jr.
What are you doing?
Yeah. He's still a Kennedy, and RFK Sr. wasn't that great either. He was a big government liberal guy. He, the old school.
RFK used to like threaten people on behalf of his brother.
Yeah. By the way, he was one of the first in modern history.
The fact that he was even attorney general is like one of the biggest cases of nepotism within our government.
He was the precursor to a lot of this stuff where they would prosecute the man, not the crime. Like a lot of that came from RFK. I mean,
yeah, he was a douche. Like
So the romanticism of the Kennedy name is not going to come back. Sorry, hate to break it to you guys. But you never know. Biden is looking terrible. I mean,
he fell.
He fell again. He fell again. And when people fall more, they fall more frequently. They fall more frequently. And he's looking like, completely out of it on stage. Today, I saw a clip. He didn't know where to go. He can barely walk. He's looking like, oof.
He fell on stage at like a military graduation, and so it was like even worse.
It was bad. All right. Well, Ron DeSantis is running, long campaign. I got to figure out what the best way to donate is.
I've already donated twice. Haha.
I've donated exactly zero. I will find a way to max out and make it a do it at a fancy party at a country club. That's what I'm gonna do.
I've already set up monthly donation.
I'll get you an invite to the country club that hosts a fundraiser when he passes through to collect all his checks. Because that's the only reason. That's the only reason he's coming to Massachusetts on his way to campaign in New Hampshire. He'll stop by, pick up the checks in Massachusetts.
He'll find a country club that we'll
work that through. Okay, I guess Michelle Wu. Let me see if I can play the video here. Got into a car crash with she was in a police cruiser. And let's see if I can see this here. Oh, this is us. I pulled up. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm going to pull up on screen. Sorry. All right. You can't see this but I'm going to put it up for the audience here. It's a 15-second clip. of an intersection, and here we go. So it's a stoplight. There's a cruiser that's going to come in from the left. Stop. Boop. Boop. Bang. Honda CRV. Smash from a traffic cam. It looks like the cruiser ran the light, and I hope everybody's okay. I don't know, even though it's this new. Do we have anything to even say on this? It's like, I mean, this is such a low level thing. There was also hate.
there was a hate crime.
There was a hate crime. Apparently, an anti-trans graffiti was put on a trans-supporting church in Jamaica Plain, of all places. And I'm not saying it definitely happened. I think it may be definitely happened for real. It was a real hate crime that definitely happened. And Mayor Wu was outraged that hate has no home here. Very strong Smollett vibes on that one.
Hate has no place in Boston.
None whatsoever. We will not tolerate hate. Even if you hate people who hate, it won't be tolerated here. No, actually, that hate will be tolerated. You can hate people if you think that they hate people. You're allowed to do that.
She's such a dork. She's such a dweeb.
Do you know she played at Boston Symphony Hall with the Boston Symphony Orchestra? She played piano.
Yeah, I called her a dweeb, so I think that covers it.
Do you know how hard that is to do, Kaitlin? I play piano. I'm an intermediate player at best. I can play some tunes, sing along, have some fun. But I started out playing classical music as an adult. Mozart, Beethoven. It is hard. Do you know how much practice you have to do to play with the Boston Symphony Orchestra? A lot. A lot.
Okay. Cool.
She's been in office for maybe a year and a half. What the fuck is she doing playing piano instead of solving the city's problems? I mean, if it's even an hour or two a day, that is too much. That is too much to be doing to prepare for a concert where you just get accolades and golf claps from your adoring public. I mean, that's nonsense.
So I don't know what the Boston Symphony Orchestra's practice schedule is, but I had a friend who was in Cambridge's symphony orchestra, and they practice one time a week. But I feel like if you're in Boston Symphony Orchestra, it's probably a part-time job, right?
I know they get full-time, so they should get a full-time salary for the year. But still, it's just but she's the mayor. She should be doing mayor stuff.
Don't do anything in the arts. I'm very bad at art. Just not great. I love watching movies and listening to symphony orchestras, but me doing the art is not happening, and it's not going to happen well if it does happen. Crafts and me just don't belong together. Anyway, was she is she a permanent pianist?
No. It was a guest performance. It was a
guest performance. You don't have to practice that hardcore for that.
It's really hard stuff. You do. I'm
doing this since she was a kid.
Probably. But you still have to practice it a lot.
Yeah, she might be one of those piano girls. Do you know what I'm talking about? The horse girls?
Yeah, fair enough. But you still have to look, my point is this. If she were Michelle Wu, lawyer, or Michelle Wu, business person, and suddenly just or Michelle Wu, television star, and did a drop-in at the Boston Symphony Orchestra, that's great. Good for you.
You want to know what's really funny about you saying that, being a lawyer? My mother-in-law was a corporate lawyer, and her undergrad degree was in being a symphony pianist.
Well, good for her.
I'm not even joking. So, my mother-in-law probably could have practiced she would have probably overdone it while she was doing it, but she could have done it.
It would have been on her time.
Well,
you're the mayor of a.
My mother-in-law was a workaholic when she was here with us. So
But
I feel like government workers just work their time and then they go.
yeah, and it shouldn't be that way. I think being the mayor of a major American city, you put the piano playing on hold. Anyway, I don't know. I hope she's okay. Hope nobody got hurt in the car
Yeah,
crash.
no,
I mean that actually.
okay.
I do mean that. I don't know what the rush was though. Why you got to have the lights on? I mean, unless there was an emergency, you can't do that, or else you get into car
I mean,
crashes.
you have to be very careful when you put your lights on, because when you do that, it causes everybody to stop and maybe they don't see you. And so that's what could happen. I'm glad that everyone's okay though.
Yeah. There was a Mass GOP operative who got a state job who got fired for doing that. Rachel Rollins, who now she didn't have to resign because of it, but before she was U.S. attorney, got in trouble for doing the, putting those lights on. You got to have a reason for it. Maybe there was a legit reason, but if there wasn't, it's a real bad look. Okay, all right. It's Friday night. It's only 8:30. Have a great evening, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. It looks like the weather may actually clear up from this shit weather that we've been having all week.
Oh, it's been so.
Yeah, I know. It's been chilly in the 50s. It sucks. So hopefully the weather will turn. Summer will bloom. The presidential campaign season is now in full effect. Get some swag. I may even go to the website and buy some like coffee cups, coffee mugs, maybe some T-shirts. I don't know. We'll see what kind of swag we can get, Kaitlin. And
Oh my God. I want to report on this. I just saw this tweet from Lisa Desjardins. I don't know how to pronounce her name. That's the way that I'm pronouncing it that way. She said, voter reacts. Just spoke with a GOP member of Congress whose office was bracing for a wave of calls after the indictment, and they only got one.
People are moving on.
I think so too.
People are moving on politically. So we shall see what happens. I think this will take a long, long time to work itself out. But I don't know. Should we place a wager on if he goes to jail or not? Maybe that's
like what?
No, I don't know. It's a bit too morbid. Yeah, I don't know. we have to match each other's gift to Ron DeSantis' campaign.
That would actually be a good one.
All right, folks. Head on over to patreon.com/RhinoPod. Only $1 a month. We appreciate our Patreon subscribers for extra content. We just did a good episode on the meme war, and we will be back next week or so with all the headlines and all the good stuff that's going on. So until next time, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.